My beloved brothers and sisters, today I wish to address a matter that weighs heavily on our hearts, a matter that has caused pain to millions of innocent souls. It is the unjust association of a noble nation, Pakistan, with terrorism. Let us reflect with honesty, wisdom, and fairness. Pakistan is a country born out of a dream of peace, justice, and dignity. The vision of its founders was to establish a homeland where people could live with their rights, where the weak would be protected, and where goodness would flourish. And yet, despite this noble aspiration, the world has often pointed fingers, accusing Pakistan of being the source of terror. This is a grave injustice. Let us ask ourselves, is it fair to blame an entire nation of over 240 million people for the actions of a few misguided individuals or groups? The truth is that no country, no religion, no community wants bloodshed and violence. Just as terrorism has no religion, it has no nationality. The vast majority of Pakistanis desire nothing more than peace, security, and prosperity for themselves and for their neighbors. Much of this negative image comes from bias in certain sections of the global media. Stories of peace efforts, charity, hospitality, and sacrifice are buried, while isolated incidents are magnified. The countless times Pakistan has stood against terrorism, sacrificed its soldiers and civilians to protect the innocent, and cooperated with the world to eliminate extremism, these are rarely highlighted. We must remember that Pakistan has been one of the greatest victims of terrorism. Thousands of lives have been lost, families shattered, children orphaned, and dreams destroyed. Pakistanis know the pain of terror not as perpetrators, but as victims. And they continue to stand firm, determined to defeat the forces of darkness. The world must be fair in its judgments. It must distinguish between the peace-loving people of Pakistan and the very few who may have chosen the wrong path. Justice demands that we look beyond stereotypes and seek the truth with sincerity. My brothers and sisters, let us not allow false labels to divide us. Let us pray for a world where no nation is wrongly blamed, where we come together in compassion, and where truth prevails over lies. May Allah bless Pakistan and every land with peace, stability, and dignity. Pakistan was born from a vision of peace, justice, and dignity, and these values form the very foundation upon which the nation was established. The struggle that led to the creation of Pakistan was not a struggle for violence or hatred. It was a struggle for the right of people to live with freedom, security, and respect. When the founders of Pakistan dreamed of an independent homeland, their dream was filled with hope for a society where people could practice their faith freely, where the weak would be protected, where the rights of minorities would be upheld, and where justice would reign for all, regardless of their background. The people who sacrificed so much for the creation of Pakistan, their lives, their homes, their families, did so with the firm belief that they were contributing to a nation that would be built on moral strength, compassion, and fairness. Terrorism is the complete opposite of these values. It spreads fear, injustice, and chaos. It destroys lives, breaks families, and weakens the fabric of society. Terrorism is rooted in hatred, while Pakistan's foundation is rooted in mercy and brotherhood. To associate Pakistan with terrorism is not only wrong, but it is also deeply unjust to the millions who gave everything so that a peaceful nation could emerge. The principles on which Pakistan was created stand firmly against all forms of oppression, violence, and extremism. In fact, the very idea of Pakistan came about because people wanted to escape injustice and persecution. How, then, can such a country promote what it once struggled to free itself from? Throughout its history, Pakistan has tried to uphold these noble values despite facing numerous challenges. Time and time again, the people of Pakistan have shown resilience in the face of threats to their peace and security. They have opened their doors to those in need. They have worked for the rights of the oppressed. They have supported global efforts for peace. Pakistan's people are known for their generosity, their hospitality, and their spirit of sacrifice, all of which reflect the dignity upon which their country was built. It is important to remember that the vast majority of Pakistanis reject violence in all its forms. They wish to live in harmony, to raise their children in safety, and to contribute positively to the world. When terrorism strikes, Pakistanis suffer just like any other people would, perhaps even more, because they have had to face terrorism within their own borders. The country has lost tens of thousands of innocent lives to acts of terror. These were men, women, and children who wanted nothing more than to live in peace. Entire communities have been scarred by the horrors of terrorism. Yet, despite this pain, Pakistan continues to fight against terrorism. The nation's armed forces, law enforcement, and ordinary citizens have made immense sacrifices to defeat the forces of evil. They have stood firm with courage and faith, determined to protect their homeland from those who seek to destroy it. Terrorism is not born out of a country's values. It is born out of corruption, ignorance, injustice, and in some cases, external interference. No nation chooses to breed terrorism, especially not a nation whose identity is tied so closely to justice and peace. Pakistan's constitution speaks of equality, human rights, and the protection of all its citizens. Its faith teaches respect for life and the importance of compassion. The spirit of Pakistan is one of unity and brotherhood, not of division and destruction. It is therefore a great mistake and a great injustice to associate Pakistan with terrorism. This association ignores the truth of what Pakistan stands for, and it disregards the suffering of its people who have been victims of terrorism. It also harms the image of a nation that has contributed much to the global fight against terror. Pakistan has always been ready to stand shoulder to shoulder with the world in promoting peace. It has cooperated in international efforts, shared intelligence, and given its support to those working to create a safer world. This is the Pakistan that the world must see, a nation striving for peace, determined to uphold justice, and firm in its dignity. To label Pakistan wrongly is to turn away from truth and fairness. We must always strive to look beyond the surface, beyond the stereotypes, and seek out the reality of a people and a country. Pakistan is not a land of terror, it is a land of resilience, of sacrifice, of peace-seeking souls who continue to hope and pray for a world free from violence. May the world open its eyes to this truth, and may we all work together to build a future that reflects the values upon which Pakistan was founded. The actions of a few individuals should never define the character or intentions of an entire nation, especially when that nation is made up of millions of people who yearn for peace, stability, and prosperity. To judge a whole country based on the mistakes, crimes, or wrongdoings of a small number of people is not only unfair, it is also harmful. It causes division, fuels hatred, and creates false narratives that do not reflect reality. Pakistan, with its rich culture, its history of sacrifice, and its deep desire for peace, is often wrongly judged because of the deeds of a few who do not represent the majority. The people of Pakistan, like people anywhere else in the world, want to live in security, to raise their children with hope, and to build a future that is free of violence and filled with opportunity. It is important to remember that no nation is free from individuals who choose a path of wrongdoing. In every corner of the globe, in every country, nor is it there are people who may act in ways that go against the values of their homeland. But when the world focuses only on these few and ignores the good that exists in the hearts of the majority, it creates an image that is false and dangerous. The vast majority of Pakistanis reject terrorism, they reject extremism, they reject hatred. They want peace not only for themselves, but also for their neighbors, their region, and the entire world. Their voices are often drowned out by the noise of those who spread fear and by the media that focuses on negativity rather than the truth of what most people stand for. When a few individuals choose violence, it is they who must be held accountable, not the millions of innocent people who want nothing to do with such evil. Pakistan is a country where communities stand together in times of trouble, where people open their homes to strangers in need, where charity is given in abundance, nor is it and where the values of kindness and respect are taught from childhood. These are the true characteristics of Pakistan's people, not the acts of terror committed by a handful of criminals. To label an entire nation because of the sins of a few is to commit an injustice that goes against every principle of fairness and truth. Throughout history, Pakistan has paid a heavy price for the actions of these few. The country has suffered attacks on its schools, its mosques, its markets, and its cities. Families have lost their loved ones. Children have been orphaned. Entire communities have been shattered by the violence brought upon them by terrorists, the very people Pakistan is often accused of supporting. In reality, Pakistanis are among the biggest victims of terrorism. They know the pain of terror, not because they have caused it, but because they have experienced its horrors firsthand. They have mourned, they have rebuilt, and they continue to fight against the forces that seek to destroy peace. It is deeply hurtful to the innocent citizens of Pakistan to see their country's name linked unfairly with terror. These are people who strive every day to live in harmony, who contribute to their communities, who help the needy, and who pray for peace. Nor is it, they work hard to create better lives for their families, and they wish for a world where they are not judged by the deeds of others. No one wants to be seen as something they are not, and the people of Pak deserve to be seen for who they truly are: in peace, loving, generous, and resilient. When we allow the actions of a few to define an entire nation, we create barriers between people. We make it harder to build friendships, to create partnerships, and to work together for a better future. We feed misunderstanding and suspicion instead of trust and cooperation. We must learn to separate individuals from the nation to which they belong. A nation of millions cannot and must not be judged by the choices of a tiny minority. Every nation has its challenges. Every nation has individuals who stray from the right path. But the identity of a nation is shaped by the values and aspirations of its people as a whole, not by the darkness brought by a few. Pakistan is a nation that continues to hope for peace. Its people continue to pray for a world that will recognize their struggle and their sacrifices. They continue to stand firm against terror, working with the global community to bring an end to violence and extremism. The world must be fair in its judgment. It must see beyond the headlines and beyond the stereotypes. It must see the millions of innocent men, women, and children who seek nothing but peace, and who deserve to be treated with dignity, respect, and understanding. Let us all work towards a future where we judge with justice and where no nation is wrongly defined by the actions of a few. Biased media portrayal often plays a significant role in fueling the wrongful association of Pakistan with terrorism, creating an image that does not reflect the truth of the country or its people. The media has enormous power in shaping how the world views nations and communities. When that power is used with fairness and responsibility, it can bring people together, promote understanding, and spread truth. But when it is used carelessly or with bias, it can spread misinformation, deepen divisions, and harm innocent people who have done nothing wrong. In the case of Pakistan, certain parts of the international media have repeatedly chosen to highlight only the negative, focusing on isolated incidents of violence while ignoring the countless stories of peace, sacrifice, and resilience that define the true spirit of the nation. The reality is that Pakistan has been one of the biggest victims of terrorism. Thousands of innocent men, women, and children have lost their lives in bombings, shootings, and attacks. The country has suffered both emotionally and economically, with entire communities mourning their losses and struggling to rebuild. Yet, when acts of terrorism occur in or around Pakistan, the headlines often make it seem as if the entire nation is somehow responsible. The sacrifices of the Pakistani people in fighting terror are rarely mentioned. The efforts of the country's security forces, the bravery of its citizens, and the cooperation Pakistan has offered to the world in countering extremism often go unnoticed. Instead, the narrative becomes one of blame, and the nation's name is unfairly linked with terror. This biased reporting creates stereotypes that are difficult to break. When people in other parts of the world hear only negative stories about Pakistan, they begin to form opinions that are based not on facts, but on incomplete and distorted information. They do not see the Pakistan that opens its doors to refugees, that donates generously to the poor, that sends its doctors and aid workers to help during global crises. They do not see the Pakistan where communities come together to support each other during hardship, where education and knowledge are valued, and where the majority of people pray and work for peace every single day. These positive stories exist in abundance, but they are often ignored because they do not fit the negative image that has been created by selective reporting. It is important to understand that no country is free from challenges, and Pakistan is no exception. Like any nation, it has faced difficulties, including dealing with elements that seek to create instability. But to single out Pakistan, To focus only on its struggles while ignoring its successes and its sincere efforts to build peace is deeply unjust. The media has a duty to show the full picture, not just the parts that grab attention or fit a particular agenda. When only the negative is shown, it leads to misunderstanding and fuels prejudice against an entire population that is largely innocent of the charges placed upon it. The harm caused by this biased portrayal is not just limited to how others see Pakistan. It also affects how Pakistanis are treated around the world. People who have never even visited Pakistan, who have never spoken to its people, may look at Pakistanis with suspicion or fear simply because of what they have seen in the media. This creates barriers to dialogue, to cooperation, and to peace. It also causes pain to the millions of Pakistanis who feel that they are being judged unfairly, who feel that their efforts to live good and honest lives are being overshadowed by a false image that they did not create. A fair and balanced media would highlight the truth that Pakistan is a country of immense beauty, rich culture, and warm, generous people. It would show the courage of its citizens who have stood up against terror. It would report on the sacrifices of the soldiers who have given their lives to protect others. It would tell the stories of the mothers who continue to raise their children with hope despite the challenges they face. It would remind the world that terrorism has no nationality, no religion, and no single home. It would remind us that Pakistan, like many other countries, is fighting a battle not of its choosing, and that its people deserve support and understanding, not blame. The responsibility lies with the media to change this narrative and present a truthful, balanced image of Pakistan. It lies with all of us as well, to look beyond the headlines, to seek out the truth, and to reject stereotypes. Only then can we hope to build a world where nations are known for their reality, not for the false images created by biased portrayals. Let us work towards that world where justice, fairness, and truth guide what we say and what we believe. Pakistan has been a victim of terrorism, losing countless lives in the struggle against extremism, and this reality is deeply felt in every corner of the country. For years, Pakistan has endured the devastating effects of terrorism on its soil. Schools, mosques, markets, hospitals, government buildings, and even places meant for peace and reflection have been targeted. The pain of this ongoing struggle is carried not just by the families of those who have died, but by the entire nation, which continues to stand firm in the face of such sorrow. Knows it, the innocent people of Pakistan have suffered the consequences of a war that they did not choose. A war that has brought fear and grief, but has also revealed their resilience and determination to defeat this evil. Or is it, among those who have lost their lives are brave soldiers, police officers, teachers, doctors, scholars, children, and ordinary men and women who were simply going about their daily lives. Terrorism in Pakistan has claimed lives without discrimination, striking at the heart of communities and leaving behind widows, orphans, and parents who have buried their children. Despite this suffering, the world often fails to acknowledge Pakistan's sacrifices. The international media, policymakers, nor is it, and even neighboring nations sometimes forget that Pakistan has paid an enormous price in the global fight against terror. The image that is unfeigned of Pakistan is that of a country associated with terrorism, but the reality is that Pakistan has bled more than many in the struggle to rid itself and the world of this menace. Entire regions have been scarred by the battle against extremism. Cities and villages have been disrupted, economies harmed, and generations of children forced to grow up under the shadow of conflict. Pakistan's security forces have fought tirelessly, or laying down their lives to protect their fellow citizens, from soldiers on the front lines to intelligence officers working in the shadows, or from police officers standing guard in dangerous areas to civilians who bravely report suspicious activities. Countless Pakistanis have given everything to safeguard their homeland. This is not the story of a nation that supports terror. It is the story of a nation that has been wounded by it again and again, and yet refuses to give up. The human cost of this struggle is beyond numbers. Each life lost to terrorism in Pakistan leaves behind a family torn apart, a community in mourning, and a future that will forever feel the absence of a loved one. Yet, amid all this loss, Pakistan has continued to hope and to work for peace. It has launched major operations to clear its territories of terrorist elements. It has passed laws, strengthened its institutions, and cooperated with the international community to dismantle networks of violence and extremism. Is it a? Pakistan's resolve has remained unshaken, even when the challenges have seemed overwhelming. Or is it a? The courage shown by its people in refusing to surrender to fear is a testament to their love for peace and stability. Many of those who have died in this struggle are remembered as heroes, but many more remain nameless, their sacrifices unnoticed by the world outside. These unsung heroes include teachers who refused to abandon their classrooms, shopkeepers who reopened their businesses after attacks. Nor is it and parents who sent their children back to school despite the risks. Their silent courage speaks louder than any speech, and it reflects the true character of Pakistan. A nation that continues to strive for peace even when peace seems hard to find. It is crucial for the world to recognize that Pakistan is not the source of terrorism, it is a country that has been deeply wounded by it. The loss of so many lives should not be forgotten or ignored. Instead, it should serve as a reminder that Pakistan stands with all other nations that seek to defeat terror. Nor is the people of Pakistan deserve respect and support for their sacrifices. They deserve to be seen for who they truly are. Victims of terror who continue to fight for a better future. The story of Pakistan's struggle against extremism is not one of complicity, but one of sacrifice, pain, and hope for a day when peace will finally prevail. The nation has consistently cooperated globally to eliminate terrorism and promote security, standing as a key partner in efforts to bring peace not only to its own region, but to the wider world. From sharing intelligence to participating in joint operations, from hosting millions of refugees who fled violence in neighboring lands to supporting peace talks and international initiatives, Pakistan has played a significant role in the fight against extremism. Its contributions are not always highlighted or praised, but they are real, and they have come at a great cost. The nation's leadership, armed forces, and security agencies have worked closely with other countries and global organizations to dismantle terrorist networks, disrupt plots, and prevent attacks that could have harmed innocent people far beyond Pakistan's borders. Pakistan's cooperation has taken many forms. It has provided crucial intelligence that has helped other countries prevent tragedies. It has allowed the use of its airspace and facilities to support international missions aimed at fighting terror. It has worked alongside its allies in tracking down high-value targets, rooting out cells of extremism, and securing its borders to prevent the spread of violence. Pakistan's armed forces have conducted large-scale operations in areas where terrorists once found refuge, pushing them out despite the difficult terrain and the heavy price paid in the lives of its own soldiers. These efforts have not only brought greater safety to Pakistan's citizens, but have also helped reduce the threat of terrorism in other parts of the world. In international forums, Pakistan has voiced its strong commitment to peace and security. It has stood with the global community in condemning terrorism in all its forms, making clear that no cause justifies the taking of innocent lives. The country has signed agreements, supported resolutions, and actively participated in regional and global partnerships focused on security and stability. It has engaged in dialogue with other nations to build trust, share expertise, and coordinate strategies against the common enemy of extremism. Pakistan's role has been that of a responsible and willing partner, recognizing that the fight against terrorism requires cooperation beyond borders, beyond politics, and beyond personal interest. This spirit of cooperation is not limited to military or intelligence efforts. Pakistan has worked to address the root causes of extremism through education, development, and dialogue. It has invested in programs aimed at preventing radicalization, promoting tolerance, and providing economic opportunities to those vulnerable to the influence of extremists. The nation understands that terrorism cannot be defeated by force alone. It must be fought through ideas, through justice, and through giving people hope for a better future. In this, too, Pakistan has sought to learn from and work with other nations that share the same goals. Pakistan's cooperation in promoting global security has often gone unrecognized or underappreciated. Too often, the focus of the world's attention remains on negative headlines or outdated perceptions, while the real contributions of the nation in the fight against terror are overlooked. Yet, the fact remains that Pakistan has been at the front lines of this struggle, not as a supporter of terror, but as a victim of it, and as a committed ally in the efforts to defeat it. The country's sacrifices, its partnerships, and its tireless work for peace speak far louder than any accusation or stereotype. The people of Pakistan deserve to be acknowledged for standing with the world against terrorism. Their nation has chosen the path of cooperation over isolation, of partnership over blame, and of action over words. Despite facing many challenges of its own, Pakistan has never turned away from its duty to help make the world a safer place. It has stood firm, knowing that terrorism is a threat that respects no borders and spares no innocent life. This commitment to global security is part of Pakistan's identity, and it reflects the true values of its people, values of peace, justice, and solidarity with all those who seek to rid the world of terror. True justice requires rejecting stereotypes and embracing sincerity, fairness, nor is it and compassion, because only through these qualities can we hope to create a world where people are judged for who they truly are, not for how they are portrayed or misunderstood. Stereotypes are dangerous because they reduce individuals and entire nations to a single, often negative, image. They blind us to the richness and diversity that exists within societies, and they prevent us from seeing the good that people do. When we give in to stereotypes, we allow prejudice to guide our thoughts and actions rather than truth and understanding. In the case of Pakistan, stereotypes have caused immense harm, nor is it painting an entire nation with the brush of terror, even though the overwhelming majority of its people long for peace, work for the good of their families and communities, and reject violence in all its forms. Justice demands that we look beyond surface impressions. It calls on us to investigate, to question, and to be honest in our assessments. It means we should never judge a person or a nation by the actions of a few, nor should we allow the loud voices of hatred to drown out the quiet but powerful voices of those who work every day to bring peace and kindness to the world. Fairness is at the heart of justice. It reminds us that every human being, every community, and every country deserves to be seen as it truly is, not as it is misrepresented by biased opinions or false narratives. It is easy to fall into the trap of accepting what is said or shown without reflection, but true justice requires effort. It demands that we pause, think, and ask ourselves whether what we believe about others is based on fact or on unfair assumptions. Sincerity is also essential to justice. When we are sincere, we seek the truth with pure intentions. We do not allow personal bias, hatred, or the desire for revenge to cloud our judgment. We recognize that in every land there are good people and bad, those who build and those who destroy. No nation, no religion, no group is free from wrongdoers, but neither should any nation or group be defined by them. Sincerity means wanting to understand rather than to accuse, to heal rather than to harm, and to build bridges rather than walls. When we are sincere in our pursuit of justice, we see the world with clearer eyes, and we are able to make decisions that are wise and just. Compassion is the force that softens hearts and opens minds. It reminds us that behind every label, behind every headline, there are human beings who feel pain, who dream of happiness, who worry for their children, and who, like us, seek a life of dignity. Nor is it when we approach others with compassion, we refuse to let stereotypes define our interactions. We recognize the suffering of the innocent, and we commit ourselves to helping them rather than condemning them. Pakistan, like many nations, has suffered deeply because of the false labels that have been placed upon it. Its people have mourned their dead, rebuilt their homes, and continue to hope for a day when they will no longer be judged unfairly. Compassion asks us to see this suffering and to respond with kindness rather than blame. In rejecting stereotypes and embracing sincerity, fairness, and compassion, we not only do justice to others but also to ourselves. We become better, wiser, and more honorable. We create a world where peace has a chance to grow, where trust can take root, and where people come together in mutual respect. This is the path that leads to true justice. A justice that heals rather than divides, that unites rather than separates. It is a justice that sees beyond borders, beyond differences, and beyond the lies that stereotypes spread. It is a justice that recognizes the humanity in all people and that works tirelessly to ensure that no one is wrongly judged or unfairly blamed. When we choose this path, We honor the values that every faith, every culture, and every moral tradition teaches us: to be fair, to seek the truth, and to treat others as we wish to be treated. May we all strive for such justice, and may work together to build a world where sincerity, fairness, and compassion guide our hearts and our actions. Nor is it only then can we hope to overcome the false images that divide us and build a future that reflects the best of who we are.